Shoes on deck, beer on ice. Laced up clean, yeah, the vibe feels nice. Fuck you, Tony, said we wouldn't fly. Now we running this mile high.
Yo, 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 happy fucking March. Welcome back, Shoes and Brews, the podcast, episode 8. As always, welcome me, Ash. How you going, buddy?
Hello, mate. It's good. Fired up and pumped for this one. We've got the Riz on here today, so ready to get into it and break down this shoe. And feels like it's been a while since we've done one of these, so keen to just talk some shit and talk some sport.
Yeah. And look, as mentioned, welcome Phil Rizzo, mate. Welcome aboard. Thanks for coming on. How are you?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm excited for this show.
Yeah, which mate, we'll get into your story. It's from one sport to another. It's pretty cool. So, but first of all, Shoes and Brews. What are we rocking tonight? What beer we got?
Banter, OG, for you, Scotty.
Nice.
Mountain cultures.
Mountain culture, beautiful. I'm sure there's a story behind that. And my one tonight, you'll love this. Ben Spoke Crankshaft. I am in Canberra. The Raiders are playing tonight. So, yeah, let's get into it. Fuck you, Tony.
This is perfect little segue because there's in the fridge. I might have to duck out in this episode and grab one. Ben Spoke and Mountain Culture have done a cool collab called Full Suspension, which is the two brewers got together. I think they both like mountain bike riding, so they made a cool drop. It's a neat 6.5%, but it is fucking delicious. So anyway, recommend it if you can find it.
For anyone listening or watching this, that was so unscripted that we've got Mountain Culture and Ben Spoke. This is unreal. Oh, couldn't get any better.
And so, you're in the cosmopolitan capital.
Yeah, mate. I'm in the capital. It's the sun's come out, so hopefully no rain tonight. The game, so unreal. But look, we as we do each episode, it's been a bit over a month since our last one. But what sports have been capturing you guys for the last month?
You lead us off, Phil. What's been capturing your attention?
For
Any
me,
sport.
I've got a wife who plays soccer or football and two daughters. So I've been watching the Tillies in the Asia Cup. We went to watch them play draw against Korea, which is not ideal for our package that we bought because we thought they would be on top of the. We got all the didn't hear that we didn't end up using.
Oh no!
Into the final for the girls, so they're flying.
Yeah.
So tell me you got tickets for this Saturday then?
No, don't tickets for this Saturday. But it'll be all right. I watched the game last night against with Japan and South Korea. Yeah. Japan looked like it's going to be hard to beat.
Mate, they look unreal.
Yeah.
So, mate, just watching them, they're very technical. Mate, to be honest, look, I'm the same as Riz. Actually, we my daughter's well into a football, and we haven't been to any games, but we did buy tickets for the final. So we'll be there on Saturday. So
how good,
mate, it's just worked out well, but it will be a really tough game because Japan they look good.
Yeah, they're hot.
Technical, which I find that we're big, we're strong, we're fast, and I think China matched us with all of those pieces. Japan's not as big and strong, but geez, they're technical. So
it'd be a tough matchup.
It'd be can't wait for that. But that's pretty much it. And look, and to be honest, watching the Formula One first couple of rounds is this whole battery thing is just like what's going on. So that sport's a bit of a weird change at the moment.
It shuffled up the grid big time. A bit disappointing with Oscar in Melbourne, obviously, but it's going to be a different season now with a couple of rounds cancelled as well. So
yeah.
For me, it's been footy's back on all fronts. So unapologetically follow and love everything. So Panthers have got a good start off to the races. It's redemption season for them. The Saints are the opposite end in the AFL. They're 0 from 2 after the massive recruitment spree in the off season. So hoping to get one on the board this weekend. But geez, it's just good. Like I can't stand these early buy rounds, but it's just good having footy back on the weekend. And like all day, every day from Thursday night through to Sunday arvo. So it's just bloody good having non-stop footy back, to be honest.
Mate, there's a lot of hours in front of the telly.
Oh yeah,
mate. Last Saturday, so the Mariners men started at 3. At 5 o'clock, I switched it over to. It was the women's Asia Cup, and then into 2 games of rugby league. Mate, I sat there. It was 7 hours. I just sat there and watched football. Sunday, Sunday Arvo. My wife's going, we are not watching any more football. Yeah, fair.
Well, but we're pumped to have, as I nickname him, the Rizzler here. It's funny,
the Rizzler.
The Rizzler. Yeah, I don't know, just working on it until it sticks permanently. But I'm really lucky. I get to Riz and I work together. And it's funny how just like life brings people together. Right? Like I can vividly remember watching Phil back in the day, and we're going to unpack some of his history in a sec. But I can remember Phil, the athlete, the gymnast, and funny now just to be sharing the corridors and more than anything just having a laugh and talking some absolute garbage and talking some running and stuff. So we're pumped to have you, mate. It's funny when you like go to like either fact find or talk to people about like the great, some of the greatest accomplishments, because I don't know about you guys, but some of the best people I know are people who don't often talk about their own accomplishments naturally. So, and you often put the person before the medals or the way you see them in certain parts of their life. So, I'll ask you to indulge me for a sec, Phil, because I think this is a pretty impressive list, and I am going to read this just so I don't make sure I stuff this up, but. You're the first ever to win a medal at a World Championships, which was a silver in the high bar in 2001, I believe. You then went one better, so you became Australia's first ever world champion in gymnastics, which is the high bar in 2006, where you took gold. You're a weapon on the Commonwealth Games front, so multiple gold medals, which I'm sure we'll unpack in a sec, including in 2002, I believe you got 3 golds. Represented Australia at the Sydney 2000 Olympics, which I've been lucky to see some of the kit from them, but also Athens in 2004, which I know I've got some really vivid memories of both those Olympic campaigns, not necessarily of you, but just of what that meant to Australian sport in the history of like just in that part of time. And the part we're going to unpack today is, well, the bloke that I know, which is, the Riz, which is, you've turned post-gymnastics career and into dad mode, and in the bloody gym and everything else, but to the now having a love for running and just the way you get after it, and have taken on some really big events in the recent times. So thanks for coming on. Any of that actually correct, or did I just make all of that up, or did you give me false information?
No, that was all good, 100% correct. I'm glad you're not going through every, take up too much of the show, wouldn't it?
So, let's go. If we go back in time for a little bit, just indulge us. Can you give us a little bit about? People might have heard about parts of your journey, but how did the love for gymnastics start, and how did you really get into it early days, and from that point of finding gymnastics through to some of the pinnacle moments like the Olympics? Just give us a bit of a snapshot of your career for us.
Yeah, sure. So my parents migrated from France to Australia, and when I was born, they pretty much were the first Australians to have a full set-up gym from gymnasium, which had a pit and had all the equipment already set up. So before that, previously it'd be a YMCA hall, which you'd have to drag out the equipment, including the AIS. So the AIS used to come up to train at our facility, because they used to train in the AIS arena. We used to set up the equipment and didn't have a pit. So in the early days, the AIS used to come up to our gym, to my family's gym. And I was pretty much monkey see, monkey do in the gym. My parents were too busy working that I was just hanging around the gym, having fun. They never really put me in structured class or anything. So it was my choice if I wanted to do anything. And then obviously you just get pretty good at it. And I had older brothers who I wanted to be better than. So they were like, yeah. The oldest is 16 years older than me, so a pretty big gap, and the other one's 6 years older. But yeah, the one who was 6 years older is definitely remember trying to do skills like a giant on the high bar, which is swinging around the whole bar. So yeah, I was like 5 years old doing that, only because I just wanted to do that before he could do it. So that was that was pretty good motivation there. And then I guess I started competing when I was young, like I guess about 8 or 9, just doing the lower levels, and then started to get a bit more serious when I was 10, going to nationals, and getting spotted by the AIS. Obviously, with my older brother, he was Australian representative as well, so we're pretty well known in the gymnastics community. And the coach at the AIS kind of already knew who I was, and he knew me as a baby as well. But they offered me a scholarship at 14 years old to move to Canberra. So yeah, so from Sydney moved to Canberra, and pretty much been a Canberran ever since. So I've stayed in Canberra, but yeah, so 14 I moved. Was doing just junior competitions, and actually made, when I was 16 years old, I made the senior team because of my high bar was that good. But because that was going to be my first international comp overseas, they decided it'd be better to send me on a bit more of a junior tour circuit and not expose me to the fully grown men, you know. So yeah, so I was already already on my way to doing pretty, like, to making the team, but me being so competitive and determined that wasn't really enough for me. So, you know, when I was 17 years old, I was qualifying for the Com Games, and I was top 3 already then with the all round, which is all the apparatuses. Went to my first Commonwealth Games and first competitions overseas as a senior gymnast. Went to, you know, World Championships, and as you said before, 2000 was my first real Olympic Games. And that was, yeah, totally amazing to compete in front of family and friends, and just the build up to that was huge. I remember when my mum waking me up at 2 a.m, I was getting some Weet Bix and some, I used to put Quick on my Weet Bix, and I think it was 1992, I'm pretty sure, but don't quote me on that one, where waking me up in the morning at 2 to watch the announcement. And that's how big it was in those days, that you get up, wake your kid up, and then just go on, okay, game on, Sydney's on.
Oh, you watched the announcement for the Sydney Games live?
Yeah, correct.
Far out. Yeah.
It was quite amazing. So I went to school the next day, and there were people in year 12 that just got the train back because it was so busy getting back that they went straight to school, and the principal was saying to year 12, just go home and sleep. So Sydney was buzzing. Even from the day dot, it was on fire.
So what year were you in at that stage?
I was in year 7.
Yeah.
So the older students ducked out to the announcement, because everyone was in circular quay just for the announcement. It was quite amazing.
It's I think nuts. And I mean, Sydney was. I'm just so glad that I was old enough that, you know, I was mid 20s, and be able to go to the games, home games is cool, but to have another one in, you know, what are we now? 6 years away. Is like anyone that just go to the home games. It's an unreal event. But to be an athlete there is just, mate, it gives me tingles. And we were talking to our Rogues a few episodes ago about, you know, are you there for 2032? Because representing your country at a home games is just one of the ultimates, I reckon. Yeah,
it was really special. It was really amazing. More I think about it, like when you're there, you're kind of going through it, and it is great. But Sydney was almost like just just under a New Year's Eve party every night, pretty much.
I remember walking through it was huge.
Yeah, it was like, I guess the biggest controversy was when the schooners were like $4.20, and they went up to $5 and never went back down after that. I think that was the controversy.
Bring back $5 schooners.
Yeah, please. So I'm guessing. I feel like I've heard parts of these stories, Phil, but I reckon gymnastics is probably taking you to some crazy places around the world and met some crazy people, both like in the actual professional, performing environment where, high performance sport and you got to show up and deliver, but also high performance off the field. To your point, every night like a New Year's Eve party. You got any like memories that really just stick out, both like amazing, like maybe not necessarily like the Olympics, I'm guessing people can probably think that's probably top of the tree in terms of getting to an Olympics, but what's the classic, when you're a dad or a granddad story you're going to tell the kids about, both on and off the gymnastics arena?
He probably can't tell his grandkids about the off field.
No. Some of the off field maybe. The vibes.
There were one of the kind of was a bit later in the career. I went to Qatar for a competition, and the next morning, obviously after the after party, and we had time to burn, and there was a place where they were renting seeing quad bikes, and going around on the sand, on the quad bikes, and tried to go on a manual, couldn't do it, so opted for the auto. But there was sand dunes everywhere, and you're just fanging along. Pretty sure we didn't have helmets, and there was just one time just fanging up this big peak, and just stopped just before it. But we're going pretty fast, and lucky the sand stopped us, because down the other side we would have just flown off. And it would have been pretty crazy and probably really dangerous. But that's kind of a crazy story. I guess another one was in Athens. There was, for people, there was kind of, I don't know, it's like an industry party, I guess, where some big company, I can't remember, might have, like Coca-Cola is doing a night out, and you just get free drinks, and there's a pool there, and they do all these, they got like a show with all they had the artistic swimmers doing a show in the pool, and all the stars were there, like Michael Klim and the swimmers and all that. They were all there. And then I was just drinking with a Canadian gymnast friend, and we're like, well, stuff catching the buses going home. And so then we just like kept drinking, and all of a sudden there was nowhere else for to go. So we're like wandering around drunk, trying to find somewhere. But we ended up climbing over this big fence, and there was just some beach beds, so we just had to sleep on that all night. And then someone's waking us up in the morning going, it's €1 for the bed, €1 for the bed. I just get out of here. Yeah.
And then on the performance side, like I think you might have a couple bits of jewelry there. What's one or two of your performances that really stick out in your mind as the ones that, like, maybe not necessarily the gold medal winning ones, or maybe they are, but like what's the the achievements that you're most proud of in your athletic career?
Yeah, it's one of the things I'm kind of a bit proud of is, for me, one of my main goals was, like, to be good is to make sure you do the basics and the fundamentals well and make it look nice. And when I was in Melbourne 2006, even though rings is my weakest event, the way with, I'm blowing smoke here, but
go for it.
Keep blowing.
The way that I did those rings, it was and I just with such a good style that the crowd was just like amazed with it, and just like I got a really good round of applause. And when something's your weakest and not the best, and people appreciate it, it's really nice to get that sort of, working at your hardest, the one that you're not as good at, and just getting, some good recognition because people could recognize the style and the effort that I've put in all those years. And it's not all, like you said, it's not always about the wins, but for me, it's one of my goals is to do that. So that was really cool. I guess in performances, it's kind of hard. Like obviously winning world championships. The whole week I couldn't touch my toes. I had a back problem, so I had a disc back problem.
Good
so
start.
I was, wasn't even sure if I was able to compete there, but I qualified first, so the pressure was on, right? So
Mate, I'm just happy. Well, it sounds bad. I'm just happy that a world champion gymnast couldn't touch his toes.
Hey, gives us hope for the next week of our life, Scotty. I got a back problem.
Mate, I was talking to someone earlier. I was actually only today about the rings. That when you do the cross, that looks fucked.
Yeah.
I remember PE. We used to go. It's probably the worst way to do it, but we get an automatic A for all of PE if we could just hold a cross for a second.
Yeah.
And people would get to there and just go.
Yeah.
The strength is unreal.
Yeah, you definitely need some lats there. It's just one of those things you just got to train. I was never. That was not my speciality though. Strength was not my. I don't know if it's because I was like a bit lazy or whatever, but I'm just just wasn't that gifted in doing strength. So I relied more on the more acrobatic stuff and the more fun stuff anyway. But the cross moves, that's iconic. Yeah,
right. That's unreal.
Right. And so I'm compartmentalizing this into a short conversation. So feel free to fill in other spots for us here. So you finished your gymnastics career. Well, fortunate enough to know that you're a proud dad and a very active person. So, but then found the love for running. Like, how did the running journey come along? Was it the classic, I need to keep moving? Was it never a runner? Let's see what all this fun's about, or was it just time efficiency thing with kids? What was the sort of shift that got you into running in recent times?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when I was young, it started, as a young kid, like most people in, school carnivals. And I think just because of, my competitiveness and gymnastics, just doing well there in primary school. And even doing throughout the gymnastics career, we used to go up to the track in the morning and do sprints. Really bad technique, obviously. We never got to and you could watch any gymnast run down a vault run and know that they haven't been taught how to run. But that was
looks
more
pretty.
Yeah, straight arms. So then I guess I don't know how running happened. I've always had runners. Like Michael Rhodes is a great friend of mine, right? I've always had runners in my life. I went to school with Dick Telford's squad when I was at Lake Ginninderra there. There's always been, runners running around, but they were always too good. And so I never really wanted to do it. But I guess...
Just do a pull-up test against them.
I think it was COVID. I think it was COVID that was sort of got me into it. And just... so I think I did have a goal of doing a 20K before COVID. And I kind of got injured because I was a bit too gung-ho. So I was like, I'll do a half marathon. Got injured, ITB issues. So I just did the 10K at the Canberra 10K running festival. And then and then during COVID, I was just running around the mountain bike tracks at Bruce Ridge. And I'm like, this would be pretty good on the bike. So I bought a bike and I'm like, yeah, that's better. But then I was starting to put on the kilos again because I wasn't intense enough. So then I'm like, well, I could maybe do some running as well. And then entered with a few of my mates, the triple try, which is the Shrimnoy triple try. So I did that with a few mates, and that kind of kicked our ass a little bit of how unfit we were. And then I was like, okay. And then I had my former manager who was in trail running, and there's a lot of people at work who are trail running. And so they were like, oh, I was like, what events could I do to give me motivation throughout the year to get better at the triple try? And they're like, oh yeah, there's an event called the 6 foot, but you have to qualify for it. And I'm like, oh yeah, how do I do that? And they're like, oh, there's a Cohen marathon in, I believe it's in June, or might have been August. So I was like, okay. So then I just did the first marathon, got a qualifying time, and then tried the triple try again, got just cramping even more this time because we're going harder. And just started doing more trail running because that's probably more important if I want to do the triple try by myself one day. So so for the first year, first 2 years or year and a half, I was just running just to build the base. I wasn't doing any intervals or hill sessions or anything like that. Just running and just running and just enjoying the fire trails and just getting out in the bush. That was what I was doing. And then, so that's how I got into it. Yeah.
So the goal is still Sri Chamoy individual?
Yeah, I guess so, loosely.
Yeah.
It's on the record now.
I'm hoping. Yeah, it is. But mate, we're posting that. Swim. How do you go in the swim? Like, I'm guessing with upper body strength.
Yeah, I think the swimming's okay, but because I did some surfing as well. But I think with the lat strength, but yeah, to be honest, I think swimming. I'm 45 years old now. I think swimming's a great way to keep fitness, keep moving without injuring the body. So I don't think it detracts from the running at all. I think it just adds to it. So the swimming, it's not. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's okay. Yeah.
It's just I just find it when you talk to triathlon was where I started a lot of my running, and when I started, you got these 13, 14-year-olds that have been swimming for 5 years, and they're just like fish. So as going in older to that is always a little bit harder. But if you've done some surfing and things like that, that'll be sweet. Whoop, Rizzo's gone. So, we've got some technical issues here. Recording resumed. I don't know if I reckon I paused it, started. I just got to get another beer.
It's going to be the tagline for the podcast moving forward.
Advertising break.
Right. Well, there, perfect. I might have to throw that in. It might take a few more days to get this out. But mate, I was just talking to Ash, and then Ash went. So I started just talking to the camera by myself. It's like, I love this. I had to go back, and I love the story of how your family came over. Oh, he's got again. Oh no. Yep, we're back. I'll have to do some editing here. I was just sort of talking about how your family came out here and you've set up the gym and the AIS would come and use that gym. It was like, that story is just unreal. But it begs me, like, obviously your older brother represented Australia as well.
Yep. Yeah, my brother plays Rizzo. Yeah, he was a scholarship holder as well in 86, 87. So, yeah. So
what year did you move here?
So I moved in 1995 and went to Canberra High School and then Lake Ginninderra.
Yeah. So what year did you move to Australia?
I didn't. I was born here. My parents.
Yeah.
So my parents. My parents arrived in 1970 in Fremantle.
Okay.
And then moved. Yep.
Yeah. I was just thinking they've arrived here. They've set up this gym, and now they've got the AIS coming. It's like they must be thinking, what sort of country have we come to? We've set up the gym for the AIS. Anyway, I got off track there.
And we fast forward back to the running part, Phil. So you casually just slid in there before that you a 6 foot marathoner. Whispers on the street in the last week, and maybe why you've got a mountain culture in your hand is 30-minute PB, 6 foot, or is any truth to that?
Yeah, just maybe 1 minute and a few seconds under 30 minutes, but pretty close enough for me to be happy with that.
Yeah, nice. So talk us through it. What was your final time?
I don't know exactly, but it was something like 5 hours and 28 minutes, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, nice. And so happy with that. That's a great result. And so what's next then, running wise? What's on the to-do list? We've got you locked in now on the record for the individual Sri Shimnoi, maybe this year or next. But what else?
Yeah, the Shrimnoy goal is probably like 5 years away.
No. Wind it back a bit.
Yeah, probably 5 or 6 years away. But I don't know the next goal actually. To be honest, there's always the Shrimnoy 100k relay, which is always fun. I think a good family goal for that is like when the kids are old enough to get the whole family to do it. There's 4 of us in the family, so my kids do park runs. So I think that'll be a nice little goal, is to get the family to do that one day. But yeah, I'm not too sure. I don't really plan too far. I don't plan a year ahead with my races. I just see what I'm feeling, and I'm only new to it, so I like to go to new places and see how I'm feeling, or take it how it goes. Yeah.
No, we love that, and like you've got to know you can run for the rest of your life. Well, hopefully, so plenty of places to go, tracks to find. Oh, thanks for indulging, mate. Like it's always nice to hear someone who you get the chance to chat to every day. Just give a bit more about different parts of their life. So, but Scotty, we might throw to you. Have you got 5 questions to fire at Phil? But gee, that rolls off the tongue nicely. A bit of alliteration, but yeah, you got 5 questions.
Say that after another couple of years. I better go get another one.
Yeah.
So, mate, we got 5 questions. As I said, this goes as long as short as you like. But mate, who's the most influential person in your running journey?
In my running journey. Yeah, I would have to say Steve Henley at work. Yeah, he's given me plenty of advice, and really good advice, and with the gear and everything and eating and food. That's been really handy. I've got a dad's group that I run with most mornings. So they've been pretty influential. And I guess my old manager, Gemma Rowe, she's the one that got me into trail running. So, I can't answer that question short.
Mate, that was pretty short. But as far as look, I want to dive into the nutrition, because Ash talks about nutrition a lot, and obviously I've done 6 foot marathons and Ironmans and things like that, and nutrition's such a big thing. But mate, from gymnastics to ultra, because I mean anything over 42.195 is ultra. So gymnastics to ultra is just I'm guessing such a different nutritional thing that you would have been like, what is going on here? I get to eat all this?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I wouldn't say, I definitely had to start eating more, doing longer runs, even before and after, even just getting into it. But I did, there's a saying out there that like long distance is an eating competition. And I took that a little bit too literally. And so I have vomited a fair few times because I was just trying to eat too much and just going for it. And obviously the body rejects it. So I've done a lot of vomiting I've done 2 massive vomits on 2 races, including my first 6 foot.
Vomited, I've never vomited in an endurance event, and I know plenty of people that have, but for me it's doing those. It's where I've vomited is 5, 10K races or training for like those high intensity training sessions. It's like, but but I guess eat too much. It's got to come out. And the body just can't. Like they say, you do have to train it, but I think I was just I don't sweat. You just learn. You learn about your body so much, and I like the old. It's a bit like the old days.
when you used to drink at the pub, and then you have, just say like 10 VBs, and then you have a Tooheys New, and you throw up, and you go, it's the Tooheys New. Where for me, it was like, it was the tailwind. It was the tailwind because I'm not used to the tailwind that made me throw up, but had nothing to do with the 10 VBs beforehand, or the 10 gels that I had before that. Like, yeah.
The fact that you mentioned VB, I don't know if you can come on here again. It's off track, but VB, there's a local bottle shop that we go and visit, and I've known the guy for years, and he's going, "Oh, Scotty, we got this new beer." He said, "It's VB 3.5, like it's a mid-strength." It's like, are you fucking kidding me? I am not drinking that shit. I said, I've known you for 5 years, and you're going to tell me about that. Oh, dear. So, all right, let's get into the next question. Mate, what's your funniest running story that you have? And being a bush trail runner, why is it a poo story?
Okay. So when this may or may not be 100% factual, but when I was in wave 4 for the 6 foot, which is below average. And I did put some information about my gymnastics career. So when they're going, okay, we're about to start wave 4, and I need to go to the toilet beforehand. And so there I'm in the portaloo, and they're like, is Phil Rizzo here? Phil Rizzo, he's a gymnast. If you see someone doing cartwheels, that's going to be Phil Rizzo, an Olympian, first chair. And I come out of the portaloo, and I'm like, yeah, it's me. Doing my nervous poo before the thing. But, yeah, it's a shame. Again, I'll blow smoke again, but I probably should have kept that gold nugget and said, here I am.
Was that this year's one?
Yeah.
Okay. I had quite a few mates down there, so I'll have to ask them.
Yeah.
That was unreal. Funny. So, mate, you've go to the next question. Football teams obviously moved from Sydney to Canberra. I've been here a long time, but, mate, what NRL, AFL, football, when I say football, your daughters play soccer. So, what teams do you support?
So I'm from Belmore. So the gym is in Belmore. So Canterbury boy. Used to have Terry Lamb through our school and give us some good advice about getting education because he never got one. And AFL, when I moved to Canberra, there was a lot of Melbourne athletes, obviously, and Perth athletes. And I never even heard of the game, but I was from Sydney. And I still got a Swans jersey. So when they're winning, I'll throw that on.
When they're winning, goodness, it's
funny.
When they're playing against Hawthorn or something, like I think that's how long ago it was. But yeah.
Nice. And football, any Premier League or anything like that?
No, I haven't really followed any, Canberra Cosmos, I remember them.
Oh, Jesus. All right. It's NRL, good. That's, mate, I'm happy with that. Mate, what's the, we talked about different things of running, but what food do you think about during running? What are you craving or your go-to? What are you thinking about?
Yeah, it's usually, I don't know, I try not to think try not to eat too much. So I was just trying to eat too much. So now I just eat just normal amounts and feel a lot better rather than trying to eat a lot more oats or something. Just keep it light and just keep it simple. Like the gels are good for longer runs, a bit of salty, hydrolytes and stuff like that. But after a massive run, it's like 2-minute noodles, just the go-to.
2-minute noodles.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, give me a hamburger and a Coke. Like that's all I wanted.
Yeah, I enjoy a vanilla milkshake as well, but Yeah, chips are good too. Like on the drive home, chips and a milkshake. But yeah, 2-minute noodles. Yeah, they're
All
great.
right, nice. On the digestive track, we've got sort of. Mate, what's your favourite drink and why is it beer? And what beer is it?
My favourite beer. Well, now because I'm starting to drink less, like I kind of like the Heaps Normals or the Alkless. Yeah, they're pretty good. You know, any good pale ale is good. I used to brew my own beer, so
Nice.
yeah, in a past life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think yeah, but variety was good back in the old days, like having a dark beer too. So you know, any good craft beer, you can't go wrong, I reckon. But yeah, a good pale ale is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, awesome.
I've got a bonus question for you. So, Scotty, just to paint a picture, the Riz is maybe the on-site comedian at work sometimes. So, loves a good dad joke. But
Okay.
I want to know. Do you think more about what food? Hopefully not freaking 2-minute noodles after a run. But do you think more about what food you're gonna eat after a run, or how many jokes you might roll out on a Monday morning at work? Specifically dad jokes that you roll with.
Yeah. I don't really, probably, I probably laugh more about the jokes than think about the food.
The funny thing is I can actually see you running along doing that.
Yeah, I don't, like just recently we moved house and like I was packing up my wife's spice rack and I swapped some of the labels. Like my wife doesn't know it yet, but the time's coming.
That's why she's ringing you.
Time's coming. Oh,
what the hell's coming out here?
Oh, come on now. Oh dear.
Oh dear. How old are you? How old are your girls?
7 and 10. Yeah.
Yeah. And they still think you're awesome.
Oh yeah.
I think you're more awesome with some chili flakes in your undies when you go for your next run.
There was an Olympian that went to their school. There's an Olympian that went to their school as skier because of the Winter Olympics, and like my younger daughter, she was with him, but my older daughter didn't have PE, and they're like, oh, and everyone was getting their autograph. They're like, I don't know what they should just ask you for your autograph. Like, I don't know, the big deal is. I thought that was pretty funny.
It's because you're old.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, too good.
Should we get into the shoes?
Oh, that's awesome. The spice rack.
Next time Phil comes on, he may or may not still be married.
The time's coming.
Far out. Anyway, that was funny. All right, let's get into the shoe. Thanks for your story. Thanks for some jokes, Matt. We could have spoken for hours, but we try to keep it to about an hour. So, look, let's get into the shoes. We've got we've all sent out the boys of Nike Zoom Fly 6. Now, what a cracking color. Probably not great for the trail, Riz, but look, this shoe here, I'll go through some of the tech, but look, essentially, you can see Zoom X there, 8 mil heel to toe drop, which is pretty standard across the Nike range. We've got a full length carbon, they call it flight plate. You can see in there, it's a full length carbon plate, but essentially it's a training shoe for high tempo speed sessions, things like that. But for like some of the sort of mid-pack runners, it can definitely be a race shoe as well. So anywhere from 5K up to the marathon, but it is generally more of a training shoe. Look, they're squeaky clean. I have not worn them. I tried them on in store, run around the shop, and that's about it for me because I'm struggling to get back to running. But you boys have been out there running in the wild, so give us all your feedback on the shoe.
I'm happy to kick us off. So I actually I already owned a pair of the Zoom Fly 6s, and it was the first carbon plate that I had from memory. And at first I was like, oh, what's this whole carbon thing about? And I was a bit sus on it. And so the first time I ever wore them was on a treadmill, and I was like, holy shit, this is too good. So I jumped off and went outside, and it was one of the best runs I've had. They're good for for me, like I'm just a mid-pack runner, to use your words, Scotty. They're perfect like when you also need a bit of a motivation to like get you going at a clip and actually feel like you can enjoy your running. You're not going to use them every session, but when you are doing those intentionally faster sessions and efforts, like just to make you feel like you can go again, one of those shoes I reckon you put on, you go, oh yeah, okay, actually I wasn't that fired up, but let's have a rip now. So and the color, I reckon this color is elite, by the way. Like they've absolutely nailed it. When they rock up and you get a flaming pair of orangey yellow shoes, you're just like, oh yeah, we're not mucking around here. And maybe that's part of the motivation when you're out running in the wild. You're like, well, I've got these leery things on my feet, I better actually have a rip. So I think they've done really, like, they feel super nice and snug around your foot. Again, make you feel like you're ready to get on the dance floor. I must admit I've worn them a bit this last month, but my vertigo's knocked me around a bit, so probably not as much as I normally would wear them. But ripping shoe, I reckon. What do you reckon, Riz?
Yeah, just because I started getting into intervals last year, and definitely had never had a carbon plate carbon shoe before, but put them on super light, and super light, super cushy. Feels I like because I've ruptured my Achilles in the past life. I'm always a little bit wary about Achilles, and I like that it's got 8 millimeters in the rise, so I'm really happy with that. But when I was doing intervals against the other people, it made it feel a lot easier. So I really see a fast park run in these things. I think this would be a really good park run shoe when you're feeling good and want to beat your kids at park run.
Look, if they're getting into park run at 10 years old, you probably still got them just.
Yeah.
I actually think Phil, the perfect use for a pair of shoes like this, especially for somebody like you, would be to put them on when your wife finds the adjusted labels on the spice rack. Just to get the hell out of it.
I'm just going to wear my fast shoes just in case.
I'll tell you a funny thing. My wife's a soccer player, right? But she did the Cohen half marathon, and she bought these shoes, not because of me, like way before me, and I'm like, oh, they're pretty cool shoes, not knowing anything about them, and I'm like, they're not like really designed for trail running, don't you? And she says, I don't care, I just like the color. I'm like, okay, fair enough.
There you go.
Funny,
They've done a good job. Like on a shoe that's obviously, like Scotty, you could probably talk to this better. A shoe that's super liked across the community. Like a shoe that people want to buy, throw on, and have a crack. Like it feels a perfect spot in the rotation if you want to pick the pace up a bit and build for those longer efforts. Whether you're training for a half or a full marathon and you want to get your speed work in. Yeah, perfect shoe.
No, it looks spot on, and it's up against. There's good shoes in the category. You've got Saucony Endorphin Speed, You've got we've done it in the past, is the Asics Sonic Blast. You've got some really cool shoes in this category with not necessarily all carbon plate, but it's the plated type shoe that, you put on. They just feel fast, like you want to go fast. So yeah, it might be a while since I'm back in one of these bad boys, so get out of here. So look, glad you boys enjoyed it, but it did. Rizzo, you answered a question that I was going to say. Like, have you got a coach at the moment?
No, not a coach. I just, I'm a very average runner, mate. Like, so average that, I just get advice and snippets. But I'm thinking about getting a coach though, just to help with because injuries, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. So, and because the environment, your work environment, you've got so many people you can lean on that just give you some handy tips. And I always say, look, you don't have to be at the elite end to have a coach. I think what the coaching does is make sure you don't fuck yourself all the time.
Yeah. That's what because I'm getting and I do know my body pretty well, and I do like being injured, and I know rehab and prehab and, just doing all that sort of diligent stuff in the gym and just knowing not to push my body. But I think technique, as I said, like running down the vault strip for 45 Ks doesn't look too good, does it? Like, with straight arms.
Jokes aside, though, just to paint the picture, though, Scotty, jokes aside, Phil, if he's not running every lunchtime, he's in the gym. And I wasn't actually joking before when I said one of the first times I saw Phil in the gym at work, he was walking around doing handstands, and I thought, what a bloody show up. But it's something to do with strength or something like that. But, believe what he says.
Mate, see, I've always been, like, did a lot of team sport, a lot of running, triathlon, but that upper body strength of gymnasts is just next level. Mate.
Oh, shit, yeah.
So watching people do handstands and walking around doing, the rings or whatever you're doing, gymnastics, like, you're a fucking freak.
Yeah.
Like the strength of that it blows my mind.
Yeah. It does come in handy, but I think I'm still a bit top heavy for running. But one thing I did at 6 foot over the line, and I was getting G'd up by the guy on the mic, but I did a cartwheel over the line to finish.
Yes.
Dangerous move, but got away with it.
That's surely move
at 5 hours cramping.
Are you gonna enter that you're a gymnast on every upcoming run, because you're gonna get called out before and after now every single time? It's good stuff.
I'll have to start running in my high bar guards.
Oh dear. Oh mate, that's awesome. Yeah. So, mate, I think we're coming to the end of it, mate. As I said, I could have chatted for hours just asking questions, and maybe next time I'm in Canberra, like Ash, we'll have to organise it where we'll get together for a beer.
We just do it at a pub or something, a live version.
Yeah, but how good. I have to learn how to do all that, but it's been unreal, and mate, I can talk for hours and just, mate, I don't care what we're talking about. I just love listening to cool stories, and that's half the thing with the podcast, right? Is we're gonna have fun. We're gonna review a shoe, have some beer, talk some shit with someone that enjoys running and life, and mate, it's been unreal. So thanks for coming on, mate.
No, thanks for having me, and thanks for the shoes. Yeah, definitely. I don't know, I do a bit of surfing. We call it a quiver. What do you do when you have lots of shoes? Is it a quiver in shoes as well? Like, good to add to your quiver? Like,
don't nickname my shoe rack the Spice Rack after tonight, mate, because keeping it spicy.
Yeah, mate, that is awesome. So, mate, thank you. Thanks, Ash. Look, we'll be back next month. We have got a shoe. I think Ash has got it there. The next one is the New Balance Ellipse. Brand new shoe from New Balance. It's not an updated shoe, brand new shoe. We'll talk about that next month. We have got a special guest lined up as well. And look, this might take a few days to get out. We had a few technical issues in the middle there. Don't know if it's my internet or Rizzo's, probably Rizzo's. But throw him under the bus. It did bring back memories of Rogue's first episode that we absolutely bombed and just destroyed it. But anyway, so look, I'll get that out hopefully early next week, which doesn't matter to the listeners. It comes out when it comes out, doesn't it? But look, follow us on Instagram and Facebook. It'll be on YouTube as well. So thanks all, lads.
Thanks, fellas.
Music.
Yeah.
Go Raiders.
Shoes on deck, beer on ice. Laced up clean, yeah, the vibe feels nice. Fuck you, Tony, said we wouldn't fly. Now we running this mile high.
Fuck you, doggies.